All right. So, our last class, um, we talked about how to create a page. And what is a page? A page is just uh, an HTML file along with the content that you want to display on the screen there. So, to have a page on your site, you just create the HTML file. And how do you create the HTML file? You create a file, call it whatever name you want to use, or use any name you want to use there, but it needs to end with .html, so that's how it's going to recognize it as a valid page. And inside the page, you are going to put all the content that you want to display to the user. And I mentioned it that structure you need to follow when you are creating a page. For example, here now I'm going to create another page here. Going to the sign up. This is the name I want to call the page. Then the extension, which is a .html. So it's going to open it up. But what do we need to do here? We need to display the content to the user. But which content do we want to display to the user? So whatever details that you want the user to see on that page anytime they visit the site and they go to that particular page, that's the content you are going to type here. But you don't just type content like that anyhow. There's some stuff you need to do first. And what do you need to do first? What you need to do is to generate the page structure. And I told you using VS Code, you can quickly generate the page structure by either using this doc. So once you type doc and press enter, it will generate the page content, or you can type HTML. It will bring out the suggestion to which is having this HTML file. It will do the same thing, or the one I will always use, which is this exclamation mark. So the first one, not the second one. So clicking on the first one, you see that it's still going to give us the same thing. And this is what we refer to as the page structure, because every site you are going to see online, or whatever pages you go to online there, this is the basic stuff you always see there. Then inside the body, that's where you now have all the content that you want to showcase to the user. So the first line, I said is talking about the version of HTML. Inside the head, this is where you supply extra information that the browser needs there. And one of the major one that we need right now is the title, which is whatever you see on the page. Anytime you go to any site, the title you are seeing there, like this YouTube now. So this text here, it's coming from the title that is inside the head. So whatever you put at the title, that's what is going to on the browser there for that particular page that you are currently viewing there like that. And what do we want to show? We want to show some details to the user. And for the details you want to show, we have different types of details that you can display. You have text, you have media. Majorly, the type of content you always deal with is text and media. And under the media, that's where you are going to be seeing something like an image, video, audio, and so forth like that. So, which is something you see these days a lot on a site there. So, to generate text, I said we have two types. We have the heading text and we have the paragraph text for now. So, for the heading text, it's just your H1 all the way to H6, depending on the level of heading that you want to use. So here I'm going to be using H1, and from there, so welcome to my page. So this is the title, and for the paragraph, we have the P tag, and inside the P tag, you put whatever content that you want to use. And since we are learning right now, that's all we will have the content down. So, and we still want to show some stuff, so that's why I'm using this lorem like that to generate some random Latin words. You can see it to generate this random lorem ipsum text like that. But by default, if you just use lorem and press enter, it will generate 25 words. So if you count there 1, 2, 3, it will be 25. But if you want, you can generate any number of words that you want, and it's going to generate this random text like that. So if you count the words, this is 1, 2, 3, and you keep counting to the end, you see that it's going to be 250. So by default, it generates this 25. So whether you specify 25 or you don't specify it, that's what it's going to give you by default. And it's there in VS Code. You don't need to install anything. It's already there in VS Code. Just type lorem anywhere you need some random text. and it will generate the stuff for you. Now we have the content, which is our code. How do we see the results on the page? So I showed you that there are different way of doing it, but the one I actually showed is this live server method in VS Code. And why are we using live server is because we're going to be doing a lot of changes in our code, and all the changes we have there, we don't want to be saving the code here and we go to the browser to reload before we can see the changes. Because if you're not using this method of go live there, so what you have to do is to right click on the file. You are going to see open in File Explorer. It will reveal where the file is saved, and once you get there, Explorer know that this is a browser file, a page. So once you click on it, it's going to open it for you. This one is working, but it's not good for what we want to do, because in case there is any changes to this page now, for example here, I'm adding one and you save, you will not see the changes. So you have to go back to the browser and do a refresh there. Now imagine that you are changing something here, maybe like you are changing like 3 things within a second. So that means when as you are saving, you keep going back to the browser to reload, which is not ideal or is not practical when you are working. Most especially when you are dealing with CSS, you always change a lot of things quickly. So you don't want to be going to the browser to be clicking on this info in order for you to see the new changes. We want to be able to save here, and once you save, we'll see the changes on the browser directly, and that's where the live server comes in. I told you to install live server. Just go to your extension, and from there search for live server, and it is going to bring out a lot of items, but the one you need is what is going to show to you first, depending on the network there. And once the network is okay, if you don't have it installed, you are going to see install. As you can see, I have it installed already. That's why it's showing this J icon to manage. But if you don't have it installed, this is what is going to show. And the one you need is this live server, not any other one. It's always the one at the first one, because it have a lot of download, and this thing is arranging based on the download this in there. So the one we need here is this live server. And once you install it, anytime you open any HTML file down here, you are going to see go live. Once it's installed successfully, this one will always come outside, and you can click on it to start the server, or you right click on the file, you still see the option to open with live server. But I'll be going with this one. So once you click on go live, then it will open the page directly on the page there. But now anything you do with this content now, the live server is watching your file. Once you save here, it will reload the browser instantly. So if I put 11 or 110 here, or 111 to save, you see that it will reload the browser, and we're going to see changes without you going to, because you have to reload, and that's what the live server is doing. Anytime you save, what it's actually doing is to reload the page for you, because that's the only time you can see the content. It must reload the page before you can see the new content there. But instead of you doing it yourself, we're using live server to handle that for us, because we don't want to be coming here every time just because we save simple stuff and we have to come here to see the changes. So that's what the last class was all about. So today we should be able to see how we can link our page together, how we can display a media on the page there, because they are very important. Any page you are working on, any site you go to, you always see a form of media going on the page there like that. So how do we display something like that? For example, here, let me go to this. Let me see if this site is still that belong. I visited this site, so nairaland.com like that, and if everything is okay, you see that the site is going to be displayed to us. And if you click on any of their details, you see that it takes you from that page to another page. And if that page is having some kind of a media, you're going to see them being listed out there like that. All right, so as you can see, this is Nairaland, and some stuff that I want to talk about today are being used on this page. For example, here now, if you look at this text, some of them here are clickable while some are not. So this E1 here is what we call link, because this one now is going to take you from one page to another page. So if I click on sports, this is what we have currently on this page. And once you click on the sports, you see that it will take us to another page entirely, which is the same thing that we have. What is just going on there is that you have a bunch of pages on your site, but you want to connect them together. So here we have the login page, the sign off page, the index page. I've already explained what is index last class. So we have this about page. So how do we connect all these pages together? And at the same time too, how do we display media on our page too like this? So if I click on any one of these items here, it will take us to another page too, which is displaying the content for these particular items that I click on there like that. Let me wait for it. And we're waiting. So while that one is loading, so how do we connect different pages together? So we have a tag that you can use to link different pages together, and that tag is known as this anchor tag, or A in general. So this A tag is what we use to connect from one page to another. That's what this site is. Any site that you're going to see, anytime you want to move a user from one page to another page, what you use is this A tag. So this A tag, it has this one attribute, which is something I talked about there before. So what is this attribute, which is this href? This is what you use to point the browser to the page you want to take the user to. And in between this your A tag, this is where you supply the content that you want the user to click on. So anytime the user click on the content inside this A, it will take them to the page that you put inside this href. So href is the attribute that you are going to use to give this A tag extra information. And what is that information? The information is the link where you want to take the user to. So, and in between this your A tag, you are going to supply the content you want to show on the screen. Just like this side now, as you can see, we are now on the page, and as you can see, the media that is showing here, we are going to see how to take this image and display it to on our page soon. But for now, we want to be able to connect our pages together. Currently, we're on sign up page. So this is the page that we're currently working on, which is this sign up page, which is the file. And if you look at it, that's the same file that is loading on the browser there. But you know, the content is not even related to what the page is all about. But the browser doesn't care. The content that you put inside your body, that's what is going to display to the user there like that. And let me update the title to sign up, because if you look currently, it's using the document, but that doesn't make sense. So let me save, and you see that the content will be reloaded, and we're going to have the text on the page. But what do we want to do? We want to connect this page now into this one here. So we want to link them together. So when you want to link your pages together, we have different type of linking that you can do. So we have linking, and when I'm talking about this linking, it can either be media or pages, anything that you are connecting two files together or multiple files together, it always deal with linking there. And we have different ways of performing the linking there. So when you're dealing with linking, we have the absolutes. So we have the absolute linking, and this one is the most cheapest one. And at the same time, the one you always use a lot is this relative or internal linking here. So these are the two type of linking you always perform them. But the one you'll be using most is this relative, because most of the thing you want to connect together on that side, on the side, you are the one in charge. You have all these resources. It's not less for you to link them together. But when you're talking about the absolute, it means you are connecting to external resources. That means something that is coming from another side. You don't have say over it. You're only just to get the link to it and you use it. But most of the time, what you always do is relative or internal. So which means whatever stuff you are dealing with internal, you already have it in your project there. Like everything is available inside your project folder. So you'll be using relative or internal. But if that thing is not available in your project, but you still want to connect it, and that thing is coming from any other site, you are going to be using absolute linking. For example, here now, we want to connect to this Nairaland, this topic now. So we want to connect to it. In order for you to connect to it, it's just for you to get a link. And what's the link to this page? That's what you are seeing at the top there. So this type of linking now to your site is known as absolute linking because it's something that you are taking from external source. So it's not part of your site. You are connecting to something else different from your site. And where are you going to use the link? So inside the href now, this is where you pass the link that you want to connect to like this. So this is the link that we got from the Nairaland. Then what do you want to show to the user to click on? So whatever you put inside the A here, that's what the user is going to click to see the link. You can look at it now. As you can see on Nairaland, you can click on image, but behind the scene is just a link. So once you click on it, it will take you to a page that matches that link. But what the user is seeing here is image, and you can now click on the image. But for now, our own is just text, but you can put anything inside your A tag. Whatever you put there, that's what the user will click on, and in order for them to get to this link. And what do we want to show here? So go to Naira land, and this is the text you want to show. So save, then go back to the page. You're going to see that we are having the link here. So and once you click on it, you see that it will take the user to Nairaland. So if the link is correct, if that is not correct, you look for it, and if it doesn't find it, stop, then it can't find whatever you pass to it. But the link that we have here is what we call external. So we call it external, or yeah, let's just external like that. So external linking. Let me complete it. So this is external linking. But I told you most of the time the linking you'll be doing there is internal linking. For example, now look at this Nairaland. Almost all the link that you're going to click here is still within Nairaland. You are not going outside. You can still go outside from Nairaland, but most of the link you are going to see there is within Nairaland. So if you click their logo, you are still on their site. If you click on any link on the page, you are still on their site. They are not really going to any external site. It's still the Nairaland. And the type of the linking they are using here is known as relative linking. But there are some of the link here that is external. For example, now, if I click on this one, this is one of the adverts added. So if you click on it, you see that it's taking you to another site entirely because it's not related to this thing. They are just doing advert there, and once you click it will take you to the actual site that advert is meant for there like that. Once this thing is done loading, what's wrong with these people's sites? So and that's how it works. So most of the time the linking you are going to be working with is internal linking. And how do you perform internal linking? So to perform internal linking there, what you always do is to, let me move this one under absolute, and under this one we're going to have our relative like this. So what is relative linking? It means you are connecting to the file you have in your project folder. It doesn't care whether it is in nested folder or not. As long as it's part of the project folder, then it is known as internal link. And when you want to connect to internal linking there, this one to have different types that you can use. But for now, we're really going to focus on one, and that one is known as same folder linking. And what is same folder? What this one is saying is that whatever files you want to connect together, they are coming from the same parent folder. If you look at all of them here now, all these files, they are under HTML. So which means all of them, they are inside the same folder. So when you want to link them together, you use the same folder linking method there, because we have other types too that we have. But for now, the one we just use is same folder linking. And when we get to the other one, I will explain the child folder and the parent folder, because we have other two. We have child folder and we have the parent folder. But for now, The one we want to work with is same folder linking. And how do you know that files are inside the same folder in VS Code? Just look at the icon. Once the icon is aligned and the starting point of the name too is aligned, that means they are inside the same folder. This one now is not inside the same, this, you know. For example here, which name can I even use? Okay, let me use H. Let me use H T z.html like this. And if you look at it like this, so expand this project, let me put something inside the project. So test.html like this. So look at them. As you can see that the icon are not aligned. So this thing is telling you that this test is inside project, but this particular one is not inside. Because this is how VS Code arranged. VS Code is not like the normal explorer that you have to enter a folder before you see the file. You are going to see everything directly unless you collapse the stock. But if you open it, you see everything. But how do you know that a particular file is inside a particular folder? Just look at the icon. Those ones that are shifted inside the folder for that particular folder you are talking about, those are the one that is under it. And every file that is inside that folder, all of them, they are going to be aligned. So look at all this one under HTML. The icon is aligned. The starting point of each one of them too is aligned. But if you compare this T, you compare this one at T and H, you see that they are not aligned at all. So the way you connect the two of them together is different. So and you are going to be you are going to see them later on there like that. But the one we want to deal with right now is the one that we have them in the same folder. So in order for the files to be in the same folder, it means they are being housed by the same parent. So all this one now, they are inside the same parent. So which means when you want to link them together, you are going to use the same folder linking. So let me put it in front of it. So same folder like this. And in order for you to connect them together, what you just do is just type the name and the extension of the file. Anytime you are dealing with same folder linking, so anywhere you are doing the linking from, just mention the name of the file that you want to connect to, because anytime you are dealing with linking, it is always between two pages, so or between two files. Anytime you are linking anything together, it's always between two files or two pages, depending on whether you are linking page or you are linking file. So you are going to have page A and you are going to have page B, and you can connect the two of them together. So from B, you can connect to A, and from A, you can connect to B. So how do you connect them together? Is by using the A tag. And inside this href, you pass the name of the file that you want to connect to. So what is A? The page A is where you want to do the linking, and page B is the other page that you are connecting to. So since both of them are inside the same folder, what you just do is to mention the name along with the extension of the file. The extension is very important because A is not just for linking pages alone. You can do other work too. So in order for this thing to know that you are connecting pages together, the HTML extension has to be there. And what we are doing here is known as same folder linking, but it is relative. You can see that I did not specify anything like the full I don't specify full address. The only thing I mentioned is the file. But by the time you get to the browser will figure out the remaining one because they are, you know, relative to each other. That's where the name is coming from, relative. Based on the current one you are working on, the page you are working on, it will figure out where this one is coming from. And that's the reason why the two of them must be inside the same parent. Because what the browser will do is that, okay, wherever the parent of this sign up, that's what it will use as about parent too. So that's where the name is coming from. So all this name doesn't just come like that. They are based on what this thing is doing. And once it's saved on our page, there, as you can see, I'm not seeing anything. Why am I not seeing anything? Because we did not put something inside the A tag, because we did not specify what the user is going to click on. So what am I going to display? Empty. So we need to put something inside the A. And what do you want to put there? You can just go to a about page like this, then save, and you see that that's the text it's going to show on the page once this thing is done loading like that. But look at it now. Can you see look at what the browser is showing as the address. No, they don't add anything like that 127 whatever stuff all the way to that HTML. The only thing we just add here is about.html. But by the time you get to the browser, you see that the browser has filled in some other stuff. That's what we call relative. Once you are dealing with relative, the browser will be the one to figure out the remaining part. Your own is just to give it the file or the location of where that file is, but the browser will figure out the remaining stuff. But if you are dealing with external, you are connected to another site, it's all part of your project that you're working on. So you have to specify the full address, no addition, no subtraction there. So whatever the link that is given to you, that's what you always see. If you remove something, then that's not the link again. If you add something, that's not the link again. And that's why it is external. You can't control it. Wherever you get it from, those are the only people that can control the link. But if it is the relative one that you're dealing with, you can control it anyhow you want. So you can move the file into a different folder, or you can, do some other stuff that will change the way you arrange your file. And you're going to be saying all this one later on when we are dealing with other type of relative linking there. But for now, the only one we are dealing with is the same folder. Please, what this one means is that whatever file you want to connect to, they must be inside the same parent there like that. And if you click on it and if everything is okay, you'll see that it will take us to the page. But right now it's complaining. Can you see what it's saying? It's not possible. So it's telling us that that page now did not have anything inside. I only created, like, the thing was just created for just creating of page, but we did not put anything inside. That's why you did not see anything on the page too. But now you know how to generate the page content, so just use any of the shortcut there to generate the stuff. So this one is going to be about us, and inside the body we're going to have each one about us like this. So I'm going to have a paragraph, and this one is just going to have like Lauren like this. So save. Then after this P, I'm going to have another H2. So this should be our teams like this. And later on here, we're going to be using list, which is something we talked about soon. So here, list of team members like this. So we're going to come to this one later on like that. But for now, let me just put the P tag, because this is not the P tag. When you are dealing with list, we don't use P. We use another tag that is meant for listing out details. So save, then reload the page because it was not there before, and as you can see, we have the content. But from this page too, we want to be able to take the user to this index.html. They are still in the same folder. So what we just need to do here is to use the A tag. Inside this href, just pass whatever page, the name of the page and the extension of it. What the text do you want to display to the user? So I want to display this home page. And once this thing is done loading there, you are going to see that we have the home page. So click on it, you see that it takes us to the home page, which is this index.html. So from this index too, I want to have another link that is going back to that sign up. So here, our pages like this. So, but something is going to happen here because I'm going to be using multiple A here. So we're going to sign up.html like this. So I have sign up. So after this one, I'm going to have another one. Let me duplicate. I don't want to type too much. So this one is going to go to about, and this is going to be about us. And which other one can I link to? I think that, let me see, do we have anything inside the login? Yeah, we actually have something there. So let me link to that one too. So from index, I want to link into the login because that's the name of the stuff, and this one is going to be, the text is going to be register. Well, look at this stuff here now. Look at this stuff. Look at the way I arranged it on inside the code there. Now let me save and get back to the page. Can you see what is happening? It put all of them side by side. But the way I arrange it here, they are a separate line. When you get to the page, is not putting them side by side. But it's not do like that with all this our H1, H2, all the way to H6. It's not do like that too with our P. And what is happening here, the basic stuff that you need to know here is that with HTML, we have two types of display for now. There's not two that we have, but for now, based on what we are doing, we have two type of display are there. We have block elements. So we have block and we have inline elements. So when you talk about block, these are elements that stays on their own line. No matter the content you have inside, whether it's small or it's big, they always cover up the entire line. And this is what is happening with all this H1, and you are going to see it when we get to the CSS later on there. Like this one here, even though the content stopping, but actually is getting to this side. And that's the reason why other content can go side by side with them. So all your H1 to A6, they are block element. They always take up the entire line. That's what they block. Once you type them, no matter the content, even if the content is small, they will always take up the entire line there. But when you're talking about inline, all this one, they take up the space of the content that is inside them. So if the content is large, they will take up that space. If the content is small, that's the space they are going to take. And that's what is happening with all this A. All your A tag, they are inline elements. So which means they will only take up the space of the content. So this one is only taken up to this side. So this one too, it will follow like that and take up to this side. And for this one too, it will take up to this side. So all your inline, this is how they behave. They take the content, the size of the content that is inside them. But if you are talking about block, whether the content is small or is big, or it's only starting from here all the way to the end. So all your H1 to A6, they are block. You don't even need to put them on different line like that. If you put them together, once you get to the page, they will be on a separate line because they are blocked. They can't stay side by side. So your H3, if you move this H3 and H2 together on the same line, so whether they're on the same line or they're on a separate line, as you can see, I talked about this extension. It knows that putting them together is just useless. Then they are going to be on a separate line. So that's why it's not. I show you another one too at that time, that if you do something like this, that doesn't mean it will come outside like this. All these spacing here, they are useless to the browser. So when you see them, it will just convert it to a single space. So all these elements, they have the way they behave by default. If I save it now, you can see it close it, but from your own side, it's not going to close. Why? Because you don't have that extension installed. We are going to install it later today. Another extension here that I talked about is that we have this auto rename. As you can see, I want to change this one, but what I want here is, as I'm changing this stop here, I want the closing one to change as I'm changing the first one. Or anytime I'm changing any one of them, the other one to change. So I've not installed that extension with this my profile, but I have it with other profile. Once I change anything here, you see that it will change the other one if there's any closing tag there like that. So we have block element and we have the inline element. So all the P tag, all the H1 to A6, they are blocked by default. It's something you can change with your CSS later on. And again, all your A tag, they are inline. A is not the only inline you have. You still be seeing some other element that are inline. Once you type any element and you see that they are going side by side, just know that they are inline. So like that. And A is one of them. Anytime you use it, even though you put them on a separate line, they will still come back to the same line. But how do we move them to a separate line for now? We can use our BR that we talked about last time here. So BR, the job of it is to move whatever content you have after it to another line. It's going to break them. So whether you put the two of them on the same line or separate line, as long as BR in between them, it will break the way you want it to be. So here too, I'm going to add another BR here like that. So save, and you see that each one of them will go to the element are still inline, but what we are doing here is we are breaking the line. So BR will break the line, and we have another one too. If you don't want to use BR, we have HR. This one is going to draw line here instead of just breaking alone. So HR will break, but at the same time it will impute this line there. So HR will break and draw that line, but BR will just break and just go like that. And the more BR or HR you use, the more the line this thing is going to break for you. So if I want, I can change this one to HR, but you don't need to be doing all this thing for your P tag or your H1 to A6. They're always on their own like that. So they are blocked. And as you can see on this one too, they are going to be on a separate line. If I click on sign up, it takes us to the sign up page. From here too, I can go go to the about. From the about, I can go back home, and from home, I can go back to this about, go back to the home, or I can click on this register, which will take us to this page here like that. So this is how you can connect different pages that on your site or that is from external site. So this way you're using the different there is the way you are constructing the link. When you're dealing with external, just get the link from that source and you use it inside the href. But if the link or whatever you want to connect to, you have it in the project, then you have to use the internal linking. But the one we are talking about right now is the same folder linking. So which means the resources we are connecting together, all of them, they are inside the same folder. If they are not inside the same folder, you can't use this method. It will not work because it will be thinking whatever you are doing here is coming from the same folder. For example, here now, I can create another one here like this. Because the browser doesn't care whether that thing is there or it's not there. It's still go and look for it. But if it's not finding it, that's where you now see the error there. So it doesn't want you that oh, what you are doing here, this is not what it's supposed to do. So for example, here now, I'm looking for home. So what this one is saying is that inside the folder where this index is coming from, there is home.html. And anytime someone click on this text, it will take them to this particular page. But on the page, the browser will just display the stuff for you. It doesn't care like that. But it's when you now click, that's where it will now see, oh, look for the stuff, and it's not finding it. And when it doesn't find it, it will give you error that it can't find. As you can see, it's displaying it, even though we did not have anything like that, because by default it will just display the content. It doesn't care whether that link is okay or it's not. Can you see what it's doing? It will look for home.html inside that folder. But now when you now click, that's when it will now look for it. But now you go there, can you see what it's saying? It said it cannot get, because now it will come to this folder and start looking for home.html. But there is nothing like that here. So it means there is nothing, you now get error like this. So when they are inside the same folder, it will work. But when they are not inside the same folder, this method will not work. You have to use another method that we're going to be talking about in the next classes there, like that when you get it time. But now we're able to link pages together. So how do we connect our page to media? And one of the most used media there is the image. The most used media that you only see online is image. And how do you add image to the page? So how do you add image to your page? So let me go to this, I think the sign up page. Yeah. So to add media to your page, what we can do is to use a tag that is meant for that. So what we can do is to use the tag that is meant for that. And what tag do we need? The tag is just img. So when you want to link to image, when you want to display image, so image, image linking like this, and anything that they will link in, you either do external or internal. So here to connect to image, you can either do your internal like this, or you can do with external. External is the cheapest one because you are getting the resources online. Just get the stuff and you pass it. But how do you use it? So to connect to the resources there, you are going to be using the img tag. So this img tag is what we use to connect to image. But now this image, as you can see, it's come with these two default attributes. The most important one here is this src, which is the source. The image you want to display, where is it coming from? Where am I going to get that image? That's what this src is there for. So we are going to pass the link where the image is coming from there, like that. This source can either be external or internal, depending on whether you have it here or you are using it from online. For example, here now, let's go back to that Naira line. There's an image there. I think, okay, yeah, look at it now. For example, like this man image now. So we want to borrow this image from Naira land. So what we just need to do, right click on it. The browser will give you the option to, you can copy the image or you can save, but the one we actually need is this image link. Is the link that we need because the link that we want to use on our side. If you want to download it and put it in your project there directly without you going online, what you can just do is to save the image. So let me save it. Um, so it's saved inside download because we are going to use that one for our internal. So what do we need to do? We need to add it to our project because now it's downloaded, it's under my downloads, but that's not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be part of the project. So I need to copy it or move it from wherever it is and drag it into VS Code or to the folder where you want it to show. So let me move it to one side so that I can be able to drag it. But this name, I don't like it. It's too long. VS Code, we see it, but it's kind of too long. So I will just change the name. As you can see, it's now inside the, but I will rename it because that name is too long. Test. So I will just call it test image like this. Don't need to change the name. VS Code will still see it, but I don't want to use that long name. So we are going to be using this one for internal, and we're going to be using this one for external. So what you just need to do is to get the link to that image. Just right click on any image you see online. You are going to see option to copy the link to that image. Then inside the source, you just pass the link directly like this. And if everything is working, the browser knows what to do. So there, if it is working, is this link working correctly? This is their link. They're adding something. Yeah, can you see now? So once the thing see the stuff, it will load, and as you can see, but the image is too large. The way it's displaying on that place is not the same way it's showing here. By default, it will show the original image. But if you want, for now, without CSS, what we can do is to use other attributes here. And what is the other attribute? The attribute is the width. So this attribute now you can control how wide is that your image. For example, if I use 300 here, you see that it will string the image according to the size that I pass here. So if I pass maybe like 20, you see that the width of the image is going to be small like this because that's the size that I pass. But I'm going to use 150 so that it can come out more like this. So to connect to any image, this is a tag you are going to use. The source, you pass the link. If it's external, get the link, put it there. If you need to reduce the size, you can quickly use this width for now. But when we get to CSS, we won't be doing it like this. We're going to be doing it directly from the CSS there. But for now that we don't know about CSS, you can be using this method to reduce the size. And if it is something that is internal, there you use the same thing that we use when we are talking about linking of pages. So if the file are inside the same folder, just mention the name of the file. So here now, the name of the file is test image. So here we are not connecting to pages, we are connecting to a file, which is image. And the same thing here too, once you save, it will look for the file inside this HTML folder because the file is there. And once you see it, as you can see, it will display the resources for you. But if you see the stuff is too wide, because that is the original size, but you can limit it, and that's what Nairaland is doing. That image is really wide, but they limit the stuff so that you can see it without you going off the screen. So here too, I will use 150, and you see that it will reduce the size based on what I'm using there like that. So you can connect to a page, you can connect media, and one of the cheapest media that we have is this image there. We're going to see how to do it with the video or YouTube or any other media later on, but this is the one that we need right now because all those other ones require some extra stuff that we need to pass into it. But the image is just the only thing that you need before you can display the image, the source. And as you can see, it's the same tag that we are using, but the difference there is what you are passing to the source. So some of these tags, they behave in different way, but the way it's going to work is depending on the content you are passing to the attribute, and it's going to make that your tag to display different stuff for you there like that. So you can connect from one page to another page, and you can connect to image. To connect to image, just call the image tag and you pass whatever image that you want to show there. So another thing that we need to talk about here is list. So another thing we need to talk about is a list. Because if you go to some site, let me see if I can see it on Nairaland. Yeah, so this is what we call list here. And as you can see that this site is using link. If you click on any of these items now, it will take you to a page that is meant for that. But now we want to be able to do something like this. We want to be able to list. But this is not the only type of list we have. There's some other one that is using number. But that, I think that's the only one this site is using. But it's all depend on the type of information that you want to show to the user there. So let me go to the main site. They have it there, and we don't have it, but I will show you the other one like that. So scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, scroll, and I don't think they have it. Let me go back. So this is what we call list here. So in HTML, we have two major type of lists. This is not the only type we have, but these are the major type of lists that we have there. So we have ordered lists and we have unordered lists. So when you're talking about lists, we have two types. So just like this list of our member that we want to do. So we have two type of lists there that you can use. So we have the ordered lists, and at the same time we have the on so we have the unordered list. So these are the two major lists you always see these days on site. We have other one too, but they are not being used again like before. So when you're talking about the ordered list, so generate ordered list, it's by using this tag here, OL. And to generate on order list is by using UL. So the list that you see here that this site is using, they are using this on order. And what is on order? This one doesn't show any particular order. It doesn't show like counting. So like nothing like 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C and so forth like that. That's what we call on order. But when you're talking about order, those are the ones that show counting, like 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C or Roman figure. Anything that show counts, that's what this order list is there for. And for the one that doesn't show the count, it only show the bullets. So this is what we call bullets here. The one that only show bullets is what we call this on ordered list. Yeah, like that. So let me see and go back to the page. You're not going to see anything because we're not putting anything inside it there. So we need to be able to put something inside the stuff. Let me go to the about so that we can see it. As you can see, we have the title, but we don't have any item. So how do we generate the item of the list? So what do we refer to as an item? So these are what we call items. So this is one item here. So this is one item of the list. No, this color. Why am I using this color? So this is one of the item of the list. So this is the first item, and this is the second item. So in order for you to generate item for your list, you are going to be using li. So li means list item. So for the item you want to generate, just call li then. So for example here now, this li will be corresponding to the first item here. So the second li now is going to be for this second item here. For example here now, you can just copy this text and just paste it directly inside the li, and you see that it's going to display the stuff for us. And again, for the second one, you can generate the second li too, because for each item you want to display, you have to generate the li for it. So copy this stuff and pass it inside the items that you want to generate. So save it and go to the page. You see that we have the ordered list, that means numbered list. So we'll go back to the page now. As you can see, it starts numbering the like this thing now. It's dynamic. It's going to number it for you based on the item that you list out. The first one will always be number 1. The second one will always be number 2. It doesn't care. So if you want this one to be the number 1, it means you have to move it up to be the first on the list. And once you see that it will change that one now to the first item. And if I add anything before it, then that's what is going to be first item like this. So first item, whatever that is last there, that's going to be the last item, and that's how it works. The way you arrange it here, that same way is going to generate the number for them. So if you want this one to be the first now, that means you have to take it up. It can be the second on the list, and you expect it to do like it. But you can actually change the number type if you want. So this OL too can behave in different ways. So it have one attribute that you can give to it to change the number that you're using, because by default it's going to use this Roman number. I mean, it's going to use the normal number here. But if I want, I can specify the type. As you can see, it's come with different type. What you're using by default is this. If you don't change it, that's what you're using, which is 1, 2, 3. But if I want, I can change the number type to ABC, and it's going to it will generate the stuff. You don't need to do anything. Just give it the type you want. You can see it's using small letter. If you want it to use capital letter, just pass it capital A like that. So it will use the stuff. And if you want to use Roman figure, just pass small I or capital I, depending on whether you want the uppercase or the lowercase one. But what if you don't like all this one, you want to use your own? You can do all this thing from CSS there, which is something that I will always do, or something that I normally do with my list. Like that. Anytime you need to have a list but have it customized, you do all those magic from CSS there. But this is what the HTML is giving you by default, like that. And most of the time, you don't need to specify the style. It will just use the number there to list your item. But what if you don't want to use this type of numbering here? This is what you want to use. So you want to use something that we have on this side, the same thing that this site is using. So this is what we call on ordered list. So here I can use the same airline, because the same airline you always use it. So it doesn't care. So it's the airline you always use. But the way it's going to come outside will be different, because it's this UL or OL that is determining the type of the list you want to use. But the item you are displaying there is the airline. But what type of list is the UL or OL? You can use any one of them, but the way it's going to list the stuff will be different. So this one is going to be bullets instead of it, as you can see, the same data, but the numbering system is different. So when you want something like this, you use your UL, and if you want something like this, you are going to use your OL there, and that's how it works. So by now, you know how to link different pages together, whether it is external or internal, because that's one of the stuff you always see. Any site you are going to see there, there's no way you will not see a link from one page to another, except it is just a single page. And single page means it's just one. Another page, that's where you display all the content, because there's some site like that. Maybe like advertisement to just show your stuff. You know, you just put it on one page and that's all. But if that site is having multiple pages, there's no way you will not have something to click to take it to, because the user will not be the one. How do I put the site link in my head and start typing them one by one at the top? It's not possible. So once the site come outside, are you not going to send all the link down? Type it? No. The user will see everything on the page, and based on whatever they see on the page, they can click on it. Can you see this one now? This is a link too. So if I click on it now, you see that it will take me to that page. But the content we are seeing is quite different from what we are. So, and that's what is depending on what you put inside your A tag. So whatever you put inside your A tag, that's what the user will see. And once they click on the stuff, it will take them to the page that you want them to see there. And for this one now, what as you can see is a link, but they just put the CSS there to look like this. It's just a link. That thing is link, but they put CSS to have all these kind of like gradient stuff. And you too, you're going to see how to create a gradient, or how to can see. Anytime you're there, it moves the button up a little bit, and once you leave, it comes down. All this is just normal CSS that you're going to see how to do them later on, like that. You can see this one too is still linked, like that. And once you click on it, it will take you to a page that thing will give you like that. And as you can see, it's on this page, and in this page too, this to go to another page, you see that it will list everything out there like that. That's how this thing works there. And then we talked about image, because every site, most of the sites, you only see form of media there like that. And if you look at this one, you can see a lot of things going on there, like they are just form of media that can display on the image. So if I want to display this, they are everything is coming from, and it display on the page like that. So all these things are just image, and the stuff that is going on behind the scene here is just CSS that you can create there once we are talking about this part. This text, you see that it's having different color. This is CSS stuff like that. So that you can use. So this is the page, and from there get started. On getting to started page, click on this one, it will take me to another page entirely, and that's what you always do. You connect different pages together, and some other element on the page you add interaction to them. For example, like this one now, if I click on this one is not taking me to another page, it's just displaying something on that page for me. It's still that same page at the no leaf. As you can see, it's the same on the page. But because my screen is small, that's why it's covered. And those are the stuff we'll be talking about when we get to CSS. Because the way you display some stuff is depending on the screen that the user is using. As you can see, there's some stuff is not coming beside now. But now if I go back to that small screen, you see that some stuff will not display again because there is no room for them on mobile. So this is what you'll be doing in CSS. Okay, when someone is on the desktop screen, this is the way the content will show. But when they're on the mobile, this is another way it's going to show because there is no space on mobile to display all this content. As you can see, it's not coming out now. And again, too, see like it's still on that page, but this one is bringing out something. And if I click out or click on, see that all these things they are not showing before. All these things are not showing. But now there is space, they are not coming out. If you click on this, you see that it's coming out. And if I type something, it will search for it. So based on whatever it's at, then it will bring it out like that. For example, if I type EMV now, so if I click on this, it will now take me to that page that actually have the content that I'm looking for like that. That's what you always do with the linking stuff. So all this thing is just linking that is going on there, which is something we can check like that. So if you look at all this thing, so inspect the code. Any page you see, just right click, inspect. It will tell you whatever at that place. And if you look at you can do it with JavaScript, but the right way of doing it is by using the A tag because that's what that tag is. The major work that tag used to do is to connect different pages. That's the only thing. That's not the only thing it's doing. But the major work is to connect from one page to another. Can you see that they don't supply the full stuff? They only supply parts of the stuff. So what they do here is what we call the child folder. We are going to get it. Not our own, we only deal with the same folder. But if you look at their own, supply the folder before supplying the name of the file. Because the file is in another folder entirely. So they need to mention that folder first before they will mention the file. But our own, the thing we just do is to mention the file alone. We do not specify the folder because they are together. But if the file are not together, you need to mention the folder. But the way you mention the folder too is depending on whether you are dealing with child or you are dealing with parents. And you are going to see all those ones. We're going to talk about the stuff like that. So they are not doing any magic. It's all the thing that we're going to be talking about is what they are just using here like that. And anytime you click on it, it will load the file because it's on this site. It's not that they are going to external source. Any other thing that needs to go to external source, you see that they open it in another page. So how do you do something like this? Because you see the site is but they open the one you click on another page. So this is what we call black here. It's something that you do because when you're going to external source, you don't want to replace your site because it means you are focusing on another side rather just open that one in another tab so that the user doesn't forget about your own site. Because if you are here now and we click on this thing and it replaces this content, it means I will just forget about your site and continue with the other one. But if you look at this one now, if you click on any one of these externally, it's opening another tab entirely. You can see it's opening another tab entirely. It's not closing the other one. It open the X another tab. Is that A tag that is doing the work. It's just that there's one attribute you need to give to it so that it can do like that. And where you'll be using this kind of stuff, you always use it when you are dealing with external linking. You don't do it with internal linking because I'm on your site, and for each link that I click on, you are still opening your site again another time. That doesn't make sense. Just replace the one you have based on the current one instead of you taking me to another tab entirely. Just imagine Nairaline now. I'm clicking on different link and it's now opening another tab every time. I will have a lot of tab related to your site, which is not good. You can do it will work, but it's not okay when you are changing page to page, which is on your site. But if you are connecting to external link, it's always good that you do it like that so that that site doesn't replace, because the thing will want to replace your site, but you can actually talk to it that you don't want it to replace your site. For example, like this Nairaland that we have here. If you look at it currently, anytime you click on it, it will replace your site. But that's not what you want. So what can you do there? One way of doing this thing here is by using the external linking or the attributes that we need to pass into it. So let me type BR here. So after this side, type this stuff. So save, and once you save and it get to the page, you see that this thing is going to, let me close this one and let me close this. Where's our page? Okay, this is about. So currently here, this is the link. So if you click on it, you see that it will replace our site. But you want that one to open its own tab. Don't remove whatever site that we have. Because now you've gone to Nairaland, that person will forget about your site and they will continue doing whatever they need to do here. But that's not what you want. You still want to link the user to external site, but you don't want them to replace your current page there like that. So what can you do? So here, there's an attribute that we can supply to our A tag, and our A tag is the attribute is target. So the target. So this target is what you can use to talk to your tag that what is the target of it, and the target here is going to be blank. So what you are saying is that, okay, anytime someone click on this link, you want to open it in a new tab. Targets have to be blank before it can open another tab. It says it will just replace the stuff, which is the first stuff that is there. But now anytime you use this target and you supply the value of this underscore blank there, what that means is that anytime someone click on this link, it will open another tab. So that one is still there. It just not that they have to be clicking back out. The site is still there. Can even click on it again. The more you click, the more it's going to open another for that user. It will keep opening another tab. But if you don't use that with the blank there, it will just replace the current page that you are working on. But that's how the browser works by default. It doesn't open tab unnecessary unless you tell it to do so like this. So for the image, we have the img tag, and on the img tag there, you are going to supply the source of the image that you want to so you can link the pages together. And lastly, we talked about lists. So this is just the basic stuff about list. This is not all, because you can actually put one list inside another list, which is what we call nested list. So your list can actually be nested inside each other. So let me have this H2 here, and inside the H2, I'm going to have this nested list. What does this mean? What it means is that you can put one list inside another list. For example, now imagine you want to display the list of your team member, but you want to arrange them according to their post. So starting from maybe you have like 3 MDs. Under the MD list, you are going to have another nested list of the names that are MDs. Under the COO or any other type of post you want to list. So how do you do something like that? We can use nested list. For example, here now I have the list of posts. So we have the MDs like this. We have the which other posts can we do there? So we have the normal staff. Apart from the staff, we have the COO, which is the Chief Operating Officer there. Yes, if there are two up, it's just one that we have under the CEO like that. And for the store, let's say we have storekeepers
like this. So look at it, these are the posts that we have. But under each post, we want to list out the names that are under that have this particular holding this particular post. So under the MD, we have 2 names. Under COO, we have 1 name. Under storekeeper, we have 4 names. Under staff, we have like 15 names, which are the list of the staffs that we have. So how do you put the names under this MD? That's where this nested list comes in there. So under this LI now, you can actually put another list inside it. And that's what we call nested list. So here now, I want to put the list of AMDs. So as you can see, this is another set of lists, but it is inside the LI of the first OL. So here now, what I want to do, so the MD is going to be this. The MD is going to be this like this. So once you see that the stuff will now be nested. As you can see that the spacing, they are not aligned. It's shifted inward. So the browser knows how to display something like this by default. There like that. So look at it. So this is what I did. The LI for MD. Inside it, I'm generating another set of lists. Whatever list you want to generate, it will be inside the LI of the parent list. The parent list is this OL. And inside it, we have this LI for MDS. We have LI for COO. We have LI for storekeepers. We have LI for staff. But we want to put a nested item under MDS. So to put it, just go to the LI of that one, and under it, just generate another set of lists. So if I want to add under this storekeeper now, so I want to add another list here, just enter the LI of that storekeeper inside it, not outside. Then inside it, just generate the list you want. The list doesn't need to be OL. It can be mixed. So which means here, if I want, I can use LI. This doesn't I can use UL. It doesn't care. So this one now is going to be Moses, and for the other one, okay, we only have one. Let's say we have 3 storekeeper. We have no. Let me. For this one, we have John like this. So and let me say, and you see now under the storekeeper, we are going to have the name. But if you look at it, the way it comes outside is now different for the bullet. You know, when you are doing it normally, look at the one it's showing. It's showing this dark one. But anytime you're using UL as a nested item, it will change the style. If you do it again, it will change for another next. Like this is level 2 now list. So this is level 1 list. So this is a level 2 list. So when you're dealing with level 2, this is how UL will come outside. When you're dealing with level 3, it have another symbol it's going to show, which means under John now. Maybe this one to have its own subordinate or something like that. So here, another UL. Now this is level 3, but it can continue like that depending on how you want to put the item inside each other like that. So let me pick out. So save now. You see that there will be list under John, but it too, can you see now? It's showing another, but this is the last one. Even if you have the other one, it will be using this one like that. But for level 2, this is what you always get. Level 3 upward, this is what you always get. But you can actually change them. From CSS, I can remove all these dots, then replace it with my own whatever style that I want. But for now, we don't care about that. We are only focusing on HTML. So once we are done with HTML, when we get to CSS, we now know how to style them. Because that's how we need to know that jam pack everything together, and we just be doing too much of stuff like that. So this is what we call nested. It's not a must, but at some time you are going to need this nested list like that. Do I even have let me